But if you want to hear any lore whatsoever, usually what I do is I ask a question in the Discord, and the first person to get the question right gets to pick lore for the week. I did not ask a question this week, so I pick the lore, and the lore that I picked is on Conrad Kellogg. Conrad Kellogg. Kellogg, the merc, the man with the sick jacket and the big old gun, is originally from NCR territory. He was a little boy when the NCR started to take hold, and he lived with his alcoholic father and his mom, who was kind of like overbearing, but she was well-intended, but she never could stand up to the dad. Because his dad was such a shitty person, his mom made a point to really instill in him that the only person that you can truly, truly rely on is yourself, your word, and your gun. Which, you know, like, I get that that's helping the child understand the world around you, but it's really unhealthy to teach a kid that. And because of all of this, his mom relied on him for support. So imagine like a 10-year-old, like, has to go out and get money, get food. It's essentially the burden that his mother placed on him. So later on in his adult life, he had abandoned or left his mom and his dad. And he didn't really feel too awful about it because of the guilt of him not being able to save his mom from his dad. He kind of just thought, well, I got to get away from this because it's a bad situation. He moves away, and in the hub, he meets a woman named Sarah, who he'll later have a kid with. And during their entanglement, they get married, so it's not like it's anything salacious. They're married. During their marriage, they move to San Francisco. Now, at one point in time, there is a man whose name is Valdez. It's just referred to as Valdez on the wiki. All of my lore comes from fallout.fandom.wiki. Fallout.fandom.com, excuse me. It says that he kills this man Valdez and gets a little bit of clout within the community of the She and becomes an enforcer for the She. Later on, at some point in time, it's never specified on the wiki at the time this happens, but his wife and child are assassinated. And, you know, this is a man who is told to fend for yourself, love nobody. The only person who's not going to hurt you is yourself. So when he's opening himself up and his wife and child are murdered, he obviously goes after them, much like the Punisher, goes after them and takes care of what he needs to do. So after the assassination of his little family, he goes eastward looking for work in the style of mercenary. People always need guns, guns moved, goods moved, drugs or drugs moved. So being a mercenary, people killed, bodies or bodies moved. So being a merc, you know, you could work on caravans. You could work as I just go hit a guy, whack a guy, off a guy, whack off a guy. All that, all the fun stuff. And he finds himself in the Commonwealth, and through his mercenary activity, he interferes with the Institute. And the Institute is chasing him down, ready to kill him for interfering with their work. But he convinces them by saying, hey, why don't we work together? Why don't you hire me as like a subcontractor or what have you? And they're not down for it at first. And then he kills a bunch of synths like with ease, like it's nothing. And he just kind of gets accepted into the Institute. His job at the Institute is the primary surface operator. And they did this because of his experience, and he was so good at what he did that they couldn't say no to him. Now, because he was a surface person, he came from the surface and was under there, and because he had access to the Institute, he could come in and out. The people of the Institute looked down on him and referred to him as a dirty surface degenerate, which 10 out of 10 album name, Dirty Surface Degenerate, hell yes, some sludgy punk. Like I said, he's their best man for surface activity. And about 60 years prior to you leaving Vault 101, I don't have to say spoilers for... I might have to say spoilers for Fallout 4. Hey, just came to my attention that if you haven't played Fallout 4, spoilers ahead. It's still kind of new enough. Probably next year is when I'm going to stop... Oh, no. Probably next year is when I'm going to stop saying spoilers. I just realized it now. When he goes to Vault 101 to get the human sample, when they take Sean... That's 60 years prior to you leaving the vault, and that's why everyone kind of looks the same, and Sean is just a little baby. But when you meet Kellogg, he looks pretty much the same. We're going to get into that in a minute. But he's the guy. He shoots either Nate or Nora, and then says, like, hey, we'll come back for the other one if this one messes up. Now, like I said before, it's a little over 60 years. Kellogg's well over 100 years old. He's a little boy during the beginning of the NCR, so... he's around for the beginning of it. I would believe that means he was there under the rule of Tandy. Yeah, because she's like the third president or the second. It's her dad. No, second, because it's her. Yes. Aradesh, Tandy, bunch of other people, Kimball. Reason why he's so old is he's working with the Institute and they cybernetically enhanced him in some way. It doesn't say exactly what happened. I don't think he's a full synth. I wouldn't be surprised if he's closer to a cyborg, which they don't really talk about cyborgs as a whole within the game. They have androids in 3. That's what synths are, but they do refer to them as synthetic humans. Anyway, he's a very old man, but he looks spry. After Nate leaves Vault 101, they send Kellogg at some point in time to Diamond City to purchase a house, to go to the place with a little boy that is essentially Sean. And that's actually bait for the Soul Survivor to find Kellogg so they could get him closer to the Institute. Now, I don't remember reading what year this happens, but if this happens like as you leave the vault, it just makes me think Dogmeat is more of a synth, or the crows. The crows too. Either Dogmeat is a synth, which yes, but also the crows are like government drones that spy and turn the frogs gay. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened recently. But like I said, it's not really stated. And then eventually, once he kind of takes a small refuge in this little house that they have in Diamond City, X688 comes to pick up the Sean synth and take him back to the Institute. And then Kellogg is put on the mission to go find Dr. Brian Virgil in the glowing sea. And it's not that he doesn't do it. It's that he has to go set up shop. So he set up shop at Fort Hagen. That's where you meet Kellogg. You confront him. That's pretty much where the game opens up. As much shit as I give Fallout 4, it follows the formula that all the Fallout games have, that here's the first story, now go do the rest. In the sense of like Fallout 1 is leave the vault, go find the chip. Find the chip, oh, there's mutants, we got to do something about the mutants. Fallout 3, go find your dad. Found your dad, now you got to fix the water. Okay, New Vegas, guy shoots me in the head, find him. The entire state of the NCR is about to implode on a man in football gear. Fallout 4, go find your son, find the guy, Brotherhood shows up, there's a whole new threat. I don't feel like it's the strongest out of everything I just said, but like I said, for as much shit as I give this game, it keeps some sort of a motif, some sort of a theme from the others. Now, after the killing of Kellogg, you can gain access to his conscience through some of the synth components that are left behind, giving them to Nick Valentine and going to the memory den in Good Neighbor. And you can get a look-see. You can peer into his mind, and he taunts at the player character one last time, which I always thought was a missed opportunity to like have Kellogg come back in some way from running around with Nick. Whatever. But when you can access his thoughts through Nick, he actually can bring up that he thinks that Father set Kellogg up to tie up his loose end because of course the Soul Survivor is going to be killing the man who kidnapped his son. That's pretty much the lore that I have written. I just want to check for some notey notes. So right here in the notes, it says, technically Kellogg is one of the oldest characters in the Fallout series, when not accounting for non-human characters such as ghouls, super mutants, or Herald, or humans who have spent their lives in extensive cryosleep, such as Robert House, the Soul Survivor, or Stanislaus Braun. Although Kellogg's age is a result of a cybernetic improvement rather than just naturally aging. That's about everything I have to say on our boy from the west to the east, Signor Connie Kellogg. Ladies and germs, that is lore.